What's poppin'? We back. Free game. Madman in the building.
Free game. Sean P.
Arcane.
Justice.
So, first we're going to kick it off with talking about the circus that has become the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sloppy.
Crazy.
It's wild what's been going on with him, starting with the Le'Veon holdout. You know, he had the whole spiel going on, back and forth dispute with the organization. His offensive lineman turned on him. Seemed like the whole team that turned on him. And then to add to that, you start off the season winless in your first 2 weeks. 0-1-1 with a tie to the Cleveland Browns week 1, 21 up. And then a shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs in which you let basically a rookie quarterback, put up 6 touchdowns on you with no picks.
Facts.
And word around town is Mike Tomlin's lost control of the locker room, etc., etc. So let's just touch on that. What you think is the root of the issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now?
We could actually tap into a lot of things when it comes to the Steelers on, some of the issues, some of the problems, especially most recently Le'Veon Bell. We didn't see a video of him out there on the jet skis having fun with people and fans and stuff like that. So he out there living his best life, So I think one thing that we really got to look at is Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Steelers. He's been there for just about a decade now at this point, since the last time they had a different coach, which was Bill Cowher. And when he first became the head coach, his first 5 years, you win a ring, you get to the Super Bowl, your defense is damn near in the top 5 or top 6 every year for the first 5 years that he's coaching. Since then, haven't been in the top 5. They've been in the 14th, they've been 18th, they've been 22nd. They had 1 year where they was in the 5th, and then they had 25th last year in total defense. To me, I'm looking more at Mike Tomlin's a defensive coach, brought in as a defensive-minded coach, took in some of the defensive players that were there the first 5 years after Bill Cowher left. It's the defense. We've been looking at it. Even the first 2 games, you got teams like the Browns that did put up points against them. You've seen what the Chiefs obliterated their defense. It didn't even look like the defense was even in the right coverage schemes. So to me, I'm looking at, I know everybody does, want to go to the Le'Veon. I know, I've been hearing it too from people and from the public. It's Le'Veon. Le'Veon is the reason they're losing. Let's keep it a buck. The Steelers are putting up points on offense. James Conner has, subbed in, pretty good so far. That's not necessarily the reason that they losing.
I mean, they put up 37 last game, came back. They was down 21-0, and instant came back and tied that like it was nothing.
At halftime. So to me, I'm looking at Mike Tomlin and I'm looking at the defense. The defense to me is the sole root at this point in time that is the issue of why they're not winning.
Well, part of it too, they don't have the same. Their identity used to be defense when he first got there. He came in, you had Troy Polamalu, you had different players that was anchoring the defense. Now you didn't even have James Harrison. You don't have Ron Shazier. So the middle of your defense really don't have a leader or anyone to go out there and be a primary playmaker. In my opinion,
leader's T.J. Watt.
And he's nasty.
He's nasty.
He's still a little green.
Yeah.
What you got on the Steelers?
It comes down to he's lost his locker room. Let's keep it a buck, bruh. The Steelers have always been known as the steel curtain, one of the best organizations in sports. It's a leadership issue. You would think the leader would be Big Ben, but when you have a quarterback that's wavering in and out of retirement every season, he's not fully engaged.
Every year,
so it's a leadership issue. When you have the Troy Palomalus, Joey Porters, Hines Wards, Antoine Randall, you feel me? James Harrison, people like that. There was established leadership in the locker room. Those were people that would put their foot down on the young players, even the bad players that wasn't doing what they supposed to do.
Ryan Clark.
I feel like Mike Tomlin lost his locker room. What was it, last season or the season before, when AB was on Facebook Live during the post-game speech?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
When Mike Tomlin was talking about how they was going to do the Patriots, and the Patriots used that as bulletin board material.
That's true.
I feel like that's the point where he started to lose his locker room. Why are you on Facebook Live after a playoff win while your coach is talking addressing the team?
Bruh, wildin'.
Well, often too, when you think about a coach losing his locker room, just being from a sports background, the number one thing that does that is when your best player or your best players stop believing in your coach, or they stop buying in,
or they
start going tangent on their own. That's when the lesser players were getting paid less, who have less talent, feel like, okay, well, if he's setting the example, he can do
then
what
I can slide.
I might as well act like, I can do what I want. And that's kind of AB being who AB is, and then kind of developing and starting to show his self-centered side is kind of taking the focus away from the team.
That's
to where everybody else is like, well, he focuses on individual. Maybe I should focus on individual.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It almost kind of somewhat reminds me of where, when Pete Carroll first got to the Seahawks, I want to let every player be themselves. I want to let the individuals and individualism come out. I don't want to, exactly. I don't want to micromanage anybody's personality. I want to let them be them. That's fine. But when you get to a point where your leaders and the big people in the locker rooms, when they're not respecting the coach anymore, or like to Lee's point, they're not buying in anymore, that's huge. That's a big.
Yeah, you have to find a middle balance. You have to learn how to let the players be themselves, but also have a structure. For example, like when Chad Johnson was in Cincinnati, people talk about him having a list of corners he was on torch every week. People talk about him dance celebrations, him doing this, him doing that, him wearing his grill during games. At the same time, he led the AFC in receiving yards 5 straight years, led the league in receiving yards 1 year, and in touchdowns. So he was able to be himself, but he also put the team there. He had when he was having his best season, that's when the Bengals were having their best season as a team. Carson Palmer was having his best season. Arguably the best quarterback to ever come out of USC, because every quarterback out there is garbage.
Matt Leinart? Is that his name?
So it's like you gotta find the middle balance to let these players be themselves, but also have structure. Because when the players not being themselves, they won't play the same. When Chad went to New England, it was all about he didn't learn the playbook, but he wasn't able to beat Chad Johnson in New England because of the structure they had.
That's true.
You have to have a middle balance. Yeah. So, and I feel like Tomlin doesn't have that same iron fist he had when he first got there. Not only that, it's just the leadership. You don't have those leaders. You have a quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, mind you. Last season he was retired. Y'all pretty much bet him to come back. He's coming back, and he doesn't seem like he's all the way there.
Yeah.
Your star running back is holding out because y'all trying to play him out of his money. You're arguably the best receiver in football. Arguably the best receiver in football is feeling like I got targeted 17 times last game. I got 9 catches, but I need more. You know what I mean? It's like every receiver feels like they need to touch the ball. They're always open. You have to have structure. You have to have that iron fist.
Yeah, facts.
So what do we think is going to end up being, the result? Do we think that Le'Veon is going to come back this year?
No.
At one point, do we think he's going to come back?
What you got?
He's going to hold out the whole year?
I'm going to touch on that and answer that real quick. No, he's going to hold out, and he's going to protect himself because he's invested in himself. This is what I'm
pro players.
He might hold out the whole year.
Look, they expect to underpay Le'Veon in his prime, keep franchise tagging him, and then when he's all used up, all these yards, injuries, whatever on him, they're going to say, oh, well, we can't give you a long-term deal because you're kind of old now. That they do it a lot, and they're trying to do the same to him. So for players to be coming out calling Le'Veon out, like, it's kind of like, bro, like, for real?
It starts with
this whole system been corrupted. Y'all gonna act like it's, come on, bro. Like, he deserves his money. He's arguably, if he's not your top running back, he's definitely
top 3, top 5.
You can't convince me he's not top 3, top 5. And he's a receiver. He's a running back / receiver. So he's like, y'all don't value him at all. Like, y'all just don't care. But he's wilding. He's bugging. Like, the players call him out.
Piggyback off what you're saying is the lifespan. First of all, the average NFL career is 3 years.
3 years.
For average players, if you're all-time great, you'll play 10 plus. The lifespan of a running back is even shorter because he gets hit every play, whether he has the ball or not.
It maxes out at 10.
Remember how Eric Dickerson said he was like, every time he runs, it's like a grind.
Is he 27 right now?
Le'Veon is 26.
He is in his prime.
Between the ages of about 20, they say, running back when he gets 30, when he gets that year.
Yeah.
So you franchise tagged him 2 years in a row. First of all, the next CBA, the players need to get rid of the franchise tag. Completely. Get guaranteed contracts. Don't complain about the NBA players and their contracts. When you guys have a chance to negotiate your CBA, you niggas love football, love getting paid, and love your life more than football. Football lasts so long. You have to live past football.
It's the shortest of all.
If not, don't complain.
You have to live past football. If you have no guaranteed contracts to where they can sign you to a $50 million contract 1 week, the next week can cut you, don't have to pay you a dime. You have franchise tags, which is not fair to the players. do better by negotiating with the players union and trying to get a better CBA in order. And if you have to lock out, then lock out. Do what's right.
Yeah, because if you just
don't come at him.
Don't
come at him arguing about him. Because if y'all was in his situation, y'all would be fighting for y'all money too. It's about y'all family. It's about life after football.
It's definitely a call to action to the CBA. That's for sure.
Here's my issue now. I mean, contract talk and all that stuff aside, back to like the Steelers locker room and stuff. You have an offensive line and players turning against Le'Veon Bell because he's trying to do what's best for him. But you have a guy in your locker room, the best receiver in the game, is not even being the team player, not showing up to games, is complaining about getting 17 targets, but nobody has said anything about him. Now, if you're able to keep that in-house, as you should, why aren't you able to keep the Le'Veon business in-house?
Exactly.
That's true. Because what's put out is what wants to be put out.
Yeah.
That's how teams do it.
It's all about creating the narrative. Sports is all about narrative.
All about narrative.
You create the narrative about Le'Veon, about him not being a team player. Who's to say he's not a team player because he wants to come out? So because it's that. In the court of public opinion, now Le'Veon's not a team player. Le'Veon is selfish. She's about him. It's all about creating a narrative.
I could just say the narrative is they don't value Le'Veon. They don't value him. They think they could go get
a lot of teams don't
John
value
Connor or whatever his name, James Connor, John Connor.
I thought it was John Connor.
Bro, I'm sorry, he's nice and all, but he's not Le'Veon, bro. He's a running back and a receiver, bro. Like, you gotta pay him. You don't value him, okay?
When his usage rate was the highest of anybody ever to play the game of football.
Keep underpaying him and like, oh, you don't want to just accept this underpay? You don't want to? Nah, bro. He's just so you could play me in the long run.
Let's not ignore the fact that with him sitting out, he not only game checks. He's losing a total of $8 million plus sitting out this whole season. He's losing now to win later, which a lot of players don't do. A lot of players will hold out, and then the team calls they bluff, and they show up crawling hand and foot on their knees to the organization, all ready to play now.
He could get up the bag.
He's calling the team's bluff. I would lose $8 million now for the future.
Because he's gonna. I mean, it's a year of not taking hits. It's a year of just.
I'm gonna be fresh next year.
I'm only 27.
I'm still in my prime. I'm still young, athletic, everything. I didn't take no hits last year.
Sign him. Yeah, that's not.
It's like he got held back. You know what I'm saying, bro? He still got the knowledge and the skill.
It would be the most sought after free agent since a Deion Sanders or Reggie White.
Oh no, that's
the most sought after.
I think that's kind of. I mean, you was touching on their defense. I mean, if you got a good running back and you can hand the ball 15, 20 times,
keep your defense off.
That keeps your defense off the field.
That's true as well.
And gives your quarterback a little bit of a release because Ben is good, but Ben is not Big Ben anymore. He
not at this point.
Ben Roethlisberger.
And James Conner, he was able to in week 1 get 31 carries and do what he did with him, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Can you do that for 16 games, 14 games, 12 games? Because 13 games.
You might have to see it.
It's gonna be a little harder, especially in the playoffs. It get way more physical. In most
playoffs, we talking playoffs. They got to get there.
Yeah.
It's not even looking like they don't even look like a
They don't
playoff
got
team.
to win.
They don't look like
they got no wins.
No, that's fact.
They don't look like a playoff team.
Yeah,
at all.
They're tied with the Browns. So.
Right now, I'm telling you, if they had Le'Veon, at least they would be. Their offense would just be too much for people. Because to be honest, for the past couple of years, I looked at them more as an offensive judge.
That's what they are.
No, that's what they are now. Yeah,
they not defense no more. Because they got all them weapons. Like you got Juju Smith, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben. Like, come on, and one of the best O lines.
And they drafted James Washington from Oklahoma State.
And then you can use Connor because everybody used two backs. Like everybody used two backs, so you can still use Connor. Like, bro, you got so many weapons. I would be using all weapons
on offense.
Yeah. Hey, a good offense though sometimes.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying. At some point
they ain't got no other choice. Their offense damn near need to be. It better be perfect.
Even last year in the Super Bowl, Eagles was a good offensive
team.
But
at some point, it comes down to a defensive stop. Every Super Bowl comes to a defensive stop.
Strip sack, something.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the Steelers?
I'm done with them.
Watch when they free.
Yo. I guess you really wanna know, Yeah. Check it. She keep asking where I've been. I ask her why she